When the United States moves an aircraft carrier and its carrier strike group, CSG, toward a potential conflict zone, is never a symbolic gesture. It is a strategic recalibration of power, one that can reshape military calculations across an entire region within days, sometimes hours. The recent redeployment of a U.S. Navy carrier strike group toward the Middle East, closer to Iran's sphere of influence, has drawn intense attention from military analysts. To understand why this matters, one must first understand what a U.S. aircraft carrier truly represents and how its surrounding strike group functions as one of the most formidable military formations on Earth. What is a U.S. carrier strike group? A carrier strike group is not a single ship. It is a self-contained naval warfighting system designed to project overwhelming power far from U.S. shores. A typical CSG consists of one nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, such as USS Abraham Lincoln, one guided missile cruiser, 2 to 4 guided missile destroyers, one nuclear-powered attack submarine, a carrier air wing with up to 90 aircraft. This formation allows the U.S. Navy to conduct air, sea, subsurface, electronic, and cyber operations simultaneously. In military terms, a carrier strike group is a mobile air base, missile platform, intelligence hub, and command center combined into one moving force. Modern U.S. aircraft carriers are nuclear-powered, meaning they can operate for 20 to 25 years without refueling. This gives them unmatched endurance and freedom of movement. Unlike land bases, carriers cannot be politically constrained by host nations, can reposition rapidly without diplomatic approval, operate continuously in international waters. This independence is critical in regions like the Middle East, where political sensitivities can restrict land-based operations. The true power of an aircraft carrier lies in its air wing, which typically includes F/A-18 Super Hornet or F-35C stealth fighters, EA-18G Growler electronic warfare aircraft, E-2D Hawkeye airborne early warning aircraft, helicopters for anti-submarine warfare and rescue. This air wing enables the carrier to achieve air superiority, conduct precision strikes deep inland, jam enemy radars and communications, track missile launches and hostile aircraft. In effect, the carrier becomes a floating sovereign airspace, capable of launching sustained combat operations without relying on nearby bases. Why carriers matter in a confrontation with Iran? Iran has built its military doctrine around anti-access/area denial, A2/AD, designed specifically to deter or complicate U.S. naval operations. This includes ballistic and cruise missiles, armed drones, fast attack boats, naval mines, coastal missile batteries. A carrier strike group is the only naval formation designed to operate and survive in such an environment, using layered missile defense, electronic warfare, and submarine protection. While the U.S. maintains air bases across the Middle East, those bases are fixed, politically sensitive, vulnerable to missile attack. An aircraft carrier, by contrast, moves constantly, is difficult to target precisely, can shift operating areas overnight. This makes a carrier the most flexible and survivable option for sustained operations near Iran. A common misconception is that aircraft carriers are vulnerable. In reality, the carrier is the most protected naval asset ever built. A carrier strike group features Aegis missile defense systems, long-range radar and early warning aircraft, electronic warfare and decoy systems, submarine screens against underwater threats. Any hostile force attempting to attack a carrier must penetrate multiple defensive layers, often while being detected long before engagement range. Strategic messaging. Why deploy a carrier now? The deployment of a carrier strike group sends 3 clear messages. Deterrence. The U.S. is signaling that any attack on its forces or allies will be met with immediate, overwhelming response. Readiness. The U.S. Navy can rapidly shift high-value assets across theaters, demonstrating global reach. Commitment. Despite competing priorities elsewhere, Washington remains militarily engaged in the Middle East. For Iran, the presence of a carrier alters calculations, not because war is imminent, but because the cost of escalation becomes dramatically higher. The risk factor. Carriers as escalation catalysts. While carriers are powerful deterrents, they also carry risk. Close proximity between U.S. carriers and Iranian forces increases the chance of miscalculation, accidental encounters, proxy actions escalating beyond intent. A single drone launch, naval incident, or missile test could trigger rapid escalation, forcing commanders to respond within minutes. Global implications of carrier deployment. Aircraft carriers influence far more than regional security. Their presence affects global energy markets, shipping insurance rates, allied confidence, adversary deterrence calculations. Markets often react not to actual conflict, but to the positioning of carriers themselves, underscoring their geopolitical weight. A U.S. aircraft carrier and its strike group represent the most concentrated expression of American military power. When one moves closer to Iran, it is not merely a tactical decision, it is a strategic statement with global consequences. The carrier does not guarantee war. In many cases, it prevents it. But it also ensures that if diplomacy fails, the United States is already positioned to act. In today's volatile security environment, the aircraft carrier remains what has been for decades: a floating symbol of deterrence, dominance, and decisive capability.